Una says, hello. When a negative thought slash emotion arises, how can I differentiate whether it's mine that needs to be processed, someone else's I'm picking up on, or a dark entity's? Also, can you explain dark entities? I've only heard about it and not too familiar. Thanks. It's a great question here. So my take on how to deal with negative emotions, thoughts, whatever's arising within our system, uh, is quite simple. It's that whatever's arising, we treat it all the same, right? So if it's our thought, someone else's emotion we're picking up on, or maybe in some cases there's some sort of entity attachment, we treat it all the same, which is we don't judge it or push it away or fight it. We just allow it to rise, observe it, and then allow it to move on, right? So I can add a little bit more. There's a bit more nuance to that. So some of us can be very sensitive. So we walk around in the world, say you go to the mall, you pick up on other people's energy, you go home and you may wonder, well, what do I do with this now? The same thing you would if it was someone else, if it was your own. You allow it to be there. Don't fight it. Don't repress it. Don't judge it. Just hold it. Allow it to pass through you. If you find that you are taking on too much when you go out about in the world, employing some boundaries, it's very, very effective and it's essential. So we can employ energetic boundaries, which may involve some visualizations, imagining, you're covered in a shield of white light or purple light, calling upon your guides to kind of protect you. If you feel like having some sort of trinkets like crystals or things like this can help as long as you have some shift in your belief that you are protected. Ultimately, it all comes down to the shift in the confidence that we have that we're protected and that we've employed some boundaries. So those are the energetic things we can do. Then, of course, there's the practical things. We can say, no, no, thank you, not right now. In some cases, cutting people off, get out of my life, leaving certain situations. If you're being bombarded, of course, this is important. So those are some things that we can do. If we're dealing with what we may call a dark entity. Now, I have a couple ways of looking at this. Both, I think, can be valid. The first one is that there are no dark entities out there like demons and stuff. It's all just manifestations of some pain that we're holding on to coming up, expressing itself seemingly as a separate entity so that we can better relate with it and understand it. It's there's like some sort of dissociated aspect of ourself, right? So we can work with it that way. So we say, hey, I'm not here to say that you're bad or that you're not allowed to exist. I see you, but this is my space, my body, my system. It's time for you to move on your journey. So I wish you all the best, right? So we recognize it, we see it, and then we employ a boundary, right? So sometimes people may fight it and say, I'm scared of you, leave, but we're invalidating it by saying that we're scared. We're invalidating it by saying it's, just a scary, dark demon. So we may have to actually validate some of these experiences and say, hey, I see you. You're real. You're valid. You have permission to be here in the universe. You're part of the expression of the divine light. However, my body, my space, my home, my aura, it's off limits for you now. So continue on your journey. So then those darker, shadowy parts, whether they're of us or they're actually some, entity out there in the world, they say, okay, thank you. I appreciate being seen. Now I'll continue on my journey. Right. So then they kind of can be exhausted out of our system, banished from our space. So in any case, ultimately, the idea is to not judge, label, or resist some of these experiences, but instead to acknowledge them. And then from that place of acknowledgement, if necessary, we make a boundary. So I hope that can help you a bit, Luna. I know I was a bit all over the place there with that. I do have a talk. The community, we all talked about entities recently on a Kundalini After Dark session. So I go more into it, and then others share about their experiences, their takes, their techniques, their tools. So you can check that out on my channel.